In my opinion, dividend investing is one of the best and easiest ways to reach your goals of financial freedom. Dividend investing is passive income with minimal time and money. It's pretty easy access, especially if you're over 18, and it adds another stream of income, which most of us only have our primary job. If you're risk averse, which just means you don't like the thought of losing your hard-earned money and that it scares you, just invest in well-diversified index funds and ETFs that track things like the S&P 500 like VOO. They're a lot less volatile, which means they're less prone to high fluctuations in prices, and this is definitely a more hands-off approach. I'm currently investing in individual stocks because I enjoy investing in companies that I believe in. Furthermore, I think I'm pretty young, so taking a more riskier path for a potential higher gain is a lot more enticing to me. Plus, I like the idea of individual stock investing because I'm a little bit more forced to dive into the analytics and financial sides as well as news of following these stocks to ensure a greater success. However, if you're on a time crunch, just invest into low volatility stocks like VOO. One of the important things that have been helping me reach my financial goals is using a budgeting sheet. You need to understand where your money goes. If you look at your recent bank transactions, you probably won't even remember where your money went, what and why you used it for. Therefore, it is important to take out this money as soon as possible, place it where you know it will benefit you in the future, and have a purpose versus buying superficial things that only provide short-term happiness. Drinking that daily coffee when you know you can make it at home for cheaper, or using that product only once when you know you shouldn't be spending, are just ways you could be building towards your financial future instead. When you save and invest as soon as you get your paycheck, you won't have to worry about covering the next rent payment or not being able to invest or save since it was already accounted for, and the money you have left in your discretionary spending, or as I like to call it, self-improvement, is your play money. But if you know you can live without it, just save and invest that too. But what's the point of making money if you can't use it towards meaningful experiences or opting for a healthier meal every now and then? I've used a budgeting sheet for almost 2 months now, and it's allowed me to help reach my financial goals of having an emergency fund, as well as my new goal of reaching a 5 to 10K stock portfolio before I dabble in some things like options or saving for a house. So far, I've saved over $10,000 and invested about $3,000. There's a link in the description below, so definitely check that out, and that has all the budgeting sheets that I've made and used so far. There's one that accounts for bills, one that allows you to aggressively save and invest, as well as the one I'm currently using. Before you begin though, make sure you make your own copy by clicking File, and then make a copy and then save that to your own Google Drive. I have some instructions on the homepage of the budgeting sheet, but all you have to do to use it is enter in the amount of your paycheck or whatever source of income you may have, and that will auto-populate for you guys, and so you know what to invest, save, or budget for bills. Currently, I have my distributions at about 60% savings, 20% saving for a house, 5% cash, which I keep in my investing account, and then 15% of which I call self-improvement, which is another word for discretionary spending. Nothing is set in stone though, so make sure you change the budgeting sheet in a way that makes it comfortable for you to save and invest consistently. But the important thing is to start as soon as possible. The best way to reach your goals is just start and figure it out later. I learned this from Alex Hormozy, and it's been a guide through me throughout my daily life. I've been putting off YouTube, putting off budgeting because I think it's too scary, it takes too much time, it takes too much money. But now that I've started, it's been easier than ever. That goes for all things in life too, so if you're scared of starting that business or YouTube channel, go ahead and start. Just don't get caught in what they call analysis paralysis. I know I'm guilty of this too, where I just spend too much time researching when I could have been using that time towards starting my channel or business. It's only when you start though when you can learn things quicker and you can adapt and micromanage in a way that helps you lead you towards your goals. Going back to the budgeting sheet though, this week we're going to be budgeting $392, which is from 2/27/24, and this source of income is going to be my tip out as a server. After entering the 392, it looks like the auto population has decided that we need to invest $235.20, save $78.40 towards the house, and then put in $19.60 as the cash towards our investing account. The last thing that we have is $58.80 towards self-improvement, which I plan to use this towards gymming and opting for healthier meals. Now that the distributions are automatically calculated, all you have to do is take it out to your saving or investing platform. If you're like anybody else, including me, you're probably asking yourself, why should I start saving for an emergency fund? An emergency fund is important to account for unexpected expenses, such as expensive car repairs, a family emergency, etc. This should be your number one priority if you don't have one already. It should account for 3 to 6 months of your expenses, but I have mine at almost a full year as an extra safety net. It just makes me feel safe. Another important point to make is that you should place your savings in a high yield savings account that will give you 4 to 5% interest per year instead of the traditional bank of 0.1%. This could be a difference of $500 compared to $10 over the course of a year, which is crazy. Apple Savings aligns with my current lifestyle. It's simplistic, I love the community and user interface, but there's other platforms like Ally, SoFi, American Express, and Discover with different savings accounts that gives you more or less than Apple, but it depends on your goals, so choose wisely. If you want to learn more about Apple Savings and the Apple Card, as well as its benefits like the 2% daily cash back using Apple Pay, go check out my shorts in the link in the description below. It outlines all the benefits, but the important part is just to have one. Another thing about your savings account is so you don't have to take out of your investments so you can fund for an emergency. But don't take it out for things like a night out, as that's not a true emergency, so make sure you stay disciplined. But now let's go ahead and add in our saving amount for the house, which is $78.40. And there we go, our savings is now done. Our current portfolio is sitting at about $3,200 with about an $11 loss for the day. However, our overall gain is up almost 5% in 2 months, so I'm excited to see where we'll be in a year. I know it has been a heavy bull market, but I plan to continue to save and invest consistently, and whenever the stock market comes crashing down, I have that 5% cash to help me average cost down in, or I'll withdraw a little bit out of my savings. After depositing our investing money and cash, our account is sitting at a little bit over $3,400. As for my investing strategy, I already have a couple stocks that I've already bought, so the main goal is to make sure I'm diversified and evening out my portfolio so I'm not overextended on any sectors or positions. Therefore, for this week, I have bought $135.20 of Apple, which is about 0.747 shares, $50 of JP Morgan, which is about 0.273 shares, and $50 of American Express at 0.23 shares. Also, it's amazing to see that this month's dividends have significantly increased. I've received $1.28 from Realty Income, 31 cents from Procter & Gamble, 26 cents from Apple, and 24 cents from AbbVie. This is all proof of passive income from dividend investing, so make sure you guys start as soon as possible so we can get that cash flow. My current goal is to reach passive income of about $120 annually, which equates to about $10 monthly. And after updating our positions tab, we are looking at an annual income of $83.19, which is about $6.93 monthly and 23 cents daily. It's not a lot, but I'm sure it'll add up quickly with the power of compound interest. This is all evidence of money you could be making passively yourself. The earlier you start, the better. A renowned investor, Charlie Munger, said that your first 100K is the hardest, but you need to get it as soon as possible. As you can see by this graphic by 4 Pillar Freedom, if you invest the same amount yearly, in this case $10,000, it takes 7.84 years to hit $100,000. However, it only takes 5.1 years to hit that next $200,000 and only about 2.5 years when you near in on that 500K. I'm only at $80 a month right now, but I'm sure if I stay consistent and disciplined, it'll grow to 100K very quickly. By quickly, I mean like, I don't know, before 25 hopefully. Every dollar that you make and spend could be money that you could employ to make more money for you rather than you working for the money. If you are serious about this though, just make sure that you don't live above your means, and even if you make more money, don't succumb to lifestyle inflation and spend more just because you make more. It's important to save and invest as much as possible as early as possible. I've also turned on DRIP, which stands for the Dividend Reinvestment Plan. You can find it by searching it in your brokerage or online if you can't find it. It just means that all the dividends that I earn from my stock will be reinvested back into the company that gave me that money. However, I know that some people have this turned off so they can pick and choose where that money goes, but I'd rather have the DRIP program do it for me, so it's one less thing I have to worry about. And so I don't have to worry about extra cash I didn't plan for just sitting in my account doing nothing. Plus, why would I invest in a stock in the first place if I'm afraid to reinvest the money that they gave me in the first place? The only reason why I would turn off DRIP is that I've already gotten to a point where I can use the 4% 4% rule, or I want to diversify elsewhere so I don't overextend on any positions. And speaking of the 4% rule, you just get to a point where you eventually have your portfolio outpace your main source of income. And at that point, you can take out 4% of that portfolio's worth every year and it will still maintain or grow even higher. Of course, only do this if your lifestyle is sustainable using the 4% rule. Otherwise, you're gonna have to tone it back a little. Plus, how cool is it to say to your friends and family that you earned an extra $80 a year doing absolutely nothing? Lastly, let's go over the stats page and update our net worth for the end of February. After updating our totals, our net worth is currently at $18,347.13. Let's go ahead and put that in the net worth tracker. This stats page allows you to see your total budget amount, as you guys can see, as well as your net worth breakdown. Currently, savings accounts for 55.7% of my net worth, which is about $10,000. However, as I continue to save and invest and do this series, I hope my investing portfolio surely outpaces this. As you guys can see by the little blip on January, which is under 15K, our net worth is now almost 20K, nearing the end of February. And there we have it. If you have stuck out for this long, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Other than that, I'm trying to make YouTube my full-time career, so it would mean a lot to me. With that being said, please check out my other videos and the series if you guys are just tuning in for the first time. But other than that, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week.
My throat is so dry.